Hi everyone, this is LAR Games, and today I'm going to be watching something new. Thanks to a very generous patron, I'm going to start something that a lot of people have been starting lately, Symphogear, which I know basically nothing about. Except for a couple of things, as usual, which is, a lot of things you get just by looking at the promotional material. There's going to be girls, there's going to be fights, maybe? I don't know. Seems like it might have that because they're all wearing like some sort of battle armor or mechs or something. And there might be Yuri undertones, which I'm not a fan of. But hopefully they're ignorable enough. Either that or people just really like to ship characters for no reason. Which I'm also not a fan of. But yeah, hopefully there's things to enjoy in this besides that specific thing. So, due to the fact that there's so much hype surrounding this and people seem to really love this series, and I've mentioned this before on multiple occasions, to people who I've talked to about this series before, not about spoilery things, obviously, but the reason that people are so kind of like fervent about their love for it. The love for this series kind of reminds me about the love for Monogatari, which I can totally understand because I'm one of those people that loves Monogatari. So if it's anywhere close to the quality that Monogatari has, then it's probably going to be amazing. Even with the things I don't like. I mean, even Monogatari has things I don't like all the lolly fan service and stuff. But I give Monogatari a pass because it's not nearly as bad as something as like Prisma Ilia that's like on basically pornographic levels, and I'll never watch it for that same reason. But it's also genuinely funny, and even with that material, it still manages to make me laugh, and in some parts be extremely emotional and heart-wrenching. But anyway, this isn't Monogatari, it's Symphogear. And I have a feeling that maybe some sort of like thing where like a magical girlish sort of thing where like the main character, who's probably a girl, will somehow don this battle outfit and fight bad guys or something. I don't know. I really have not much to go on. And the characters that I put in even my thumbnail, I completely forgot already because there's just a lot of them. So it's not like I'm going to remember how anyone looks like. I also made the thumbnail yesterday and didn't spend too much time looking at the actual characters. So, yeah. Thankfully, this version that I got comes with chapters, so I could skip the OP very easily, because I don't want to watch the OP, since most anime OPs tend to spoil things. And I think that if I watch, an animated version of these characters, it'll be easy to remember them as opposed to just seeing one image that I placed in the background of my thumbnails that I searched very quickly, because I didn't want to. Well, it didn't take that little, but I tried to not pay attention to it, and it's easier when it's just a still image. So I managed to just not remember any of them. But with an OP, they're actually doing things, and their personalities show through, and they're doing things that hint at something that's going to happen in the show. Then I would rather not have that, because it would give me expectations. It would give me expectations for events. Like, I'm fine with an expectation of like, oh, I'm expecting this show to be good, because that's something you would want to expect. But I would not be happy with the sort of expectations like, oh, people are talking about episode 8, how it's gonna be really good or something. They're hyping it up. No, I would not want something like that, because it puts me in a specific mindset for that specific episode instead of just being surprised. So yeah, I tend to avoid openings because they tend to spoil arcs, they tend to spoil character personalities and designs. So I'll know these characters are coming and I'll be expecting them, and I would rather not have that. So yeah, going back to this chapters, and it seems that this first episode does not have an opening. So that's good. I won't have to skip it. But yeah, how long have I been? 4 minutes. 5 minutes. This intro is a bit longer than usual. But yeah, let's get started. My headset audio is very high right now, which is why I kind of flinched there. That bus animation looked very awkward. It seems this version of Japan is already pretty apocalyptic. There's a lot of destruction here. I hope it's not too dramatic, though, because already in the beginning it's seeming like it's taking itself very seriously, which I tend to not appreciate as much. So I assume her friend died in some sort of catastrophe. I chose a different translation of that for the thumbnails because I thought it just sounded better. Alright, so we're flashing back. Wow, this is a little more futuristic than I expected. Ah, they have anime in the future as well. Very nice. Wait, is this like a futuristic version of like the place where otakus go to for Comic Cat? For people who are new to my preferences when it comes to entertainment, if something's going to be really serious, I prefer to have a lot of stuff that's like lighthearted for me to get to know and like the characters beforehand before I start caring about what happens to them if things turn south. But if it just starts off very dramatic, I find it harder to get into them. Thank you for repeating all those things that you normally wouldn't say out loud for the convenience of us viewers. Okay. What? Oh, I don't appreciate that bounce at all. It is kind of exciting to get into a new series not knowing anything about it, though. So this is the girl that died. So I shouldn't get attached to her. I wonder why they're wearing these like raincoats. So somehow this idol work, which I mean, I assume it's going to be idol work, is gonna save the world. I can see how people would go crazy with the Yuri shipping already. So why did they have to wear the ponchos until this? It's not like they removed them on stage or anything. Also, it seems that they're flying, and I doubt those are wires. I'm also not someone that really appreciates singing segments in anime, so it's kind of not appealing to me right at the start. It's having a bit of a rough start for people with my taste. Hopefully this becomes a lot more significant and means stuff later. I did not expect an idol anime, that's for sure. Considering my Love Live reaction isn't up anymore on YouTube, I should probably mention that I did really like Love Live, but the singing parts were the parts I liked the least. Though I did like that one singing part in Lucky Star. Yeah, that doesn't seem appealing to me whatsoever. Concerts, I've never gone to one and I never plan to go to one because it just seems like not my type of location. I do kind of like the design of the purple-haired girl. So is the reason they're singing to some like appease that relic or whatever? Also, people suddenly died. Okay. Seems they're fighting some sort of alien race and they decided to have a concert today. This kind of reminds me of Powerpuff Girls a little bit. See, you shouldn't have gone to a concert. That was your first that was your first mistake. Ow. This is the most violent idol anime I've ever seen. Also, uh if you're the only ones that can fight, then why did you wait this long? I guess what the other girl said would make sense if they haven't been told to. Maybe they were waiting because of that. They were waiting for orders, maybe. And transformations. I wonder if everyone gets one. Nah. Wait, are you gonna sing while killing things? Really? Wow, there's blood too. This is weird. It's bringing a little bit to mind Evangelion, which I really hate, with the artifact being below there and all the people dying and stuff, and I don't know, it's just, and also being the future. Ugh. Evangelion is one of my most hated series. So either she didn't know about the aliens, which would be weird considering everyone in the audience knew, or she didn't know that these idols could also fight. So is this where she dies? And maybe the girl in the future is going to be inspired to do something or join these people because of her death? They look like Power Ranger enemies. Oh, there she goes. Well, again, it's hard for me to care about anything happening to anyone right now because it's starting off with these sort of things and I'm not attached to anyone yet. I mean, yes, obviously it sucks that a girl is dying. That's always going to be a bad thing, but like, do I actually care about this person? Not really. It's nice that either they killed all the monsters or the monsters are just waiting patiently. Also, I don't think we saw the other girl transform, and it seems they were waiting. I like him better. I think that was a better description of what they're doing. Are you singing in English? So them being idols relates to their abilities, I guess. There wasn't that many left, though. Was that really necessary? I think they took out more before. Maybe she was just like at her limit. And it seems the other one didn't even do anything. Well, this is off to a very dramatic start. uh, oh, she's alive. Okay, so people think she's dead, but she's actually not. So how long did that say? Uh, like how long ago did that say that was? Like 5 years? These locations, though, are very interesting. They're not typical Japan, that's for sure. Uh, I hope you mean in terms of story, like a storytelling technique, and not some other. Wait, so if this is the present. I'm a little confused here. So she was the one that didn't fight. Press F. Press F to pay respects. So she did know what they were. But yeah, that brings back bad memories of Evangelion with, the angels, and this is the noise. Oh god, it really does remind me of that. It also reminds me a little bit of Darling in the Franxx, which I absolutely abhorred. I hated that series so much. If they're that well known, why would you still be trying? Ooh, a 3D helicopter. Now things are getting serious. Do we finally get hers? Is this hers? No? Okay, well. Oh, hello. That was nice. Reminded me of how one of my favorite servants in Fate Grand Order fights, just with their legs. Well, if you did that, if you can do that, why didn't you do that before? Could have saved your friend there. Wow, that is a huge buffet. Okay, so if this is the present, then maybe what we saw in the very beginning is the future. How does that happen? It always happens in anime, but how do people get rice on their face while eating? Like, does it just fly? Do you eat so fast it just flies up and splatters? I guess for the same reason people buy physical copies of games these days. Of course, I think it's fairly old, so I don't think digital distribution was all that common. I mean, it's new enough that they have a widescreen format, 16 by 9, and it's not, the regular. I'm not regular, but standard definition. Oh, that means there's a monster around here. One of them noises. Where did that little girl come from? Oh, they're just waiting there. I bet the little girl's gonna die. I feel like that's this kind of show. They've already shown a whole bunch of other people dying. Why not little girls too? Or maybe this is close to where we saw in the very beginning of the episode, but just like directly after whatever happened. Why? I'm pretty sure running away horizontally would be more effective than vertically because it's harder. I mean, they can climb. It seems like they could climb fairly easily. I think losing them in the buildings would have been a better idea. Yeah. Somehow they decide to be slow now, though. What? I have many questions. One, why did she decide to sing? Two, why did it do something? The Japanese sure love that. I assume by her reaction that was the power of the friend that died. I don't think that's how blood vessels work, but okay. She came with censorship. And once again, they're waiting very patiently. Oh, that was episode one. Hmm. I assume this is just the credits. Okay, well, my impression of episode one, I gotta say, honestly, it didn't start off very well, at least with me. But I'm hoping I'll like it more as it explains things. The thing is, I don't know, I didn't find something enjoyable first, so I could like, get attached to the series first before all these horrible things happen. I think there was way too many characters all at once right at the beginning, which I'm also not a fan of. Not to mention the comparisons I've been mentally making to Evangelion and Darling in the Franxx, which don't help it whatsoever. So, if she didn't die, and if she has these abilities, what was that thing in the beginning? Is it even more in the future? Does she die in some sort of battle? I. Hmm. That's one of the reasons I'm also not really a big fan of like flash forwards like that. It has to be done very like in a very specific way for me to like it. Like for example, there's a movie called The Usual Suspects, which starts with a flash forward, and it has an amazing payoff. But this, I don't know, it just leads to confusion. Which, granted, you're confused in the beginning of The Usual Suspects as well. So hopefully, it's satisfying in that way. There's also a bunch of like blushing, but towards girls blushing towards other girls. I mean, I'm like, it may sound like I'm against Yuri, like existing. I'm not, and just I don't really like watching Yuri things. This does give off those vibes quite a bit. This first episode is also very low on actual explanations, just a whole bunch of things happening one after the other. Uh, I assume whatever she has now, like this new ability, was implanted during her operation while they were trying to save her life, maybe? There's obviously going to be other characters added onto this like force of I don't know what these things are. Aliens, I guess I'll call them. Onto this force of like alien fighting beings, magical girls essentially. There's also the singing parts. One of the things also, like, there's another idol anime that I watched called Zombieland Saga, which I also reacted to, but it's also not on YouTube anymore because YouTube sucks. I had to start over. Anyway, um, where I really enjoyed it, but again, the singing parts just weren't my favorite, like at all. And this seems to have. I hope it doesn't have too much of it. But there was, there was exceptions, like the early ones in Zombieland Saga. Oh my god, those were hilarious. So I did love them. But then later on, they became sort of normal, like idol singing sections with 3D and stuff, and that was not my favorite, except for one, which actually made me cry. Uh, God, I wish I could re-upload all this stuff. Um, but yeah, the first episode of Symphogear was it definitely wasn't what I expected because I had no expectations really, except for, I mean, it did have one thing that I thought it was going to have, and that was girls fighting things with like powers, but it wasn't as fun as I was hoping it was going to be. I kind of need the fun, otherwise, I feel like anything dramatic doesn't have any weight. For me, I feel like for something dramatic to work on me, it needs to have earned the right to be dramatic. Like I need to have grown attached to the characters so that I care if something bad happens to them. Hopefully, this show will let me eventually become attached to all the characters. So when more dramatic things happen, I actually feel it's something being done well. But during our journey there, I feel like there's going to be a whole bunch more of this dramatic stuff that I'm just gonna almost feel like rolling my eyes at. I hope that's not the case. I hope this gets a lot better. The fights sometimes are pretty interesting, I guess, how they were done in terms of like animation, I guess. So let's see what happened actually. Like, okay, it started off with who I assume the main girl is. She was dead, or at least people thought she was. And then it flashes back to when she almost died, but then she didn't, and there was singing and stuff involved. And then later we flash forward again, and she's fine. And then she gets her powers. Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to wait till next episode to get some explanations, I hope. And hopefully finally get some actual fun stuff. Because there was just a lot of people dying and things fighting and people crying and Yuri undertones. So, I hope this wasn't too disappointing for people that wanted me to see this, because I'm not the kind of person that would just automatically pretend to love something when I actually don't feel that positively towards it. I try to be as honest as possible with everything. So if I feel anxious about a certain thing that I don't like, I will voice my concerns. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for this episode. Yeah, so, alright, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.